degree that they've been paid off yet. One sterling silver necklace a friend gave to me, and 39 years experience living in poverty. Well, I scratched my head at the bits I found, but I didn't quit yet, the advice seemed sound. They told me to keep a tally and to take measure of all the things I found, my hidden treasure. So I counted up my assets just like it said to do. Here's a few more things I can offer you. I got a voice like an angel, you can order it to go. I can write you a song, poem, or book, you know. I can teach you to paint or to draw if you please. I can speak to a large group or small with great ease. I can offer a couch to the wealthy who seek a unique experience, living poor for 5,000 a week. Felt so much better as I wrote down this letter. All I need now is people who pay. A little money goes a very long way, and maybe this'll be a great story to tell. If only I can find someone who'll buy the things I can sell. Ooh, won't somebody please buy the things I can sell?
It's time to communicate, it's time to relate. Build your brand, don't make it bland. Take the first step, show them why your brand. Your brand isn't a logo or a color scheme, no, no. It's not a slogan, you know, a trademark or copyright, oh, oh, oh. Build your brand, don't make it bland. Take the first step, show them why your brand. Your brand is everything people say when they're talking about you. Reputation is king when it comes to branding. Build your brand, don't make it bland. Take the first step, show them why your brand. Your brand begins with you, everything you say and do. Sharing your heart is true will bring customers to you. Build your brand, don't make it bland. Take a first step, show them why your brand. How do we spell heart? Your humanity builds empathy, gives authenticity. Your relatable story shows you're trustworthy, that shows your heart. Build your brand, don't make it bland. Take the first step, show them why your brand. Have the courage to be real, don't let your fears steal. Power of your view, honesty's the best deal. Build your brand, don't make it bland. Take the first step, show them why your brand. When you show your heart, that's when loyalty starts. It will set your brand apart. No one can replace your heart.
Feels like I'm living in a country song. With everything in life going wrong. Been down and out for far too long. Feels like I'm living in a country song. I thought I'd dance my last with poverty. I finally made it out and broken free. Now a pile of debts is staring back at me. Try paying with IOUs from friends and family. Feels like I'm living in a country song. With everything in life going wrong. Been down and out for far too long. Feels like I'm living country song. I'm losing my home, family's moving soon. I've got 3 weeks till the 1st of June. No idea where I'm gonna find a saloon. Credit's trash, the bill collector soon. Feels like I'm living in a country song. Everything in life going wrong. Been down and out for far too long. Feels like I'm living in a country song. Looks like every door's closing in my face. I'm a one-legged man in a butt-kicking race. Lord, I could use some grace. It's gonna take a miracle to find a place. It's gonna take a miracle to find a place. Feels like I'm living in a country song.
And yes, it is time. It is that time of the day when we are actually going to start drawing. Woo! Thank you guys for joining me. I'm so excited to have you here. Now, last week, the legs just weren't quite coming together the way I wanted them to. So basically, yes, I saw CD. I saw, Chris, I saw you were reorganizing your porch. Looked great. So sometimes when you're struggling with your art, the best thing to do is go out and grab a photo reference for you to look at, so you have a little bit of handy help getting your positioning right, and maybe you end some of the frustration you've been experiencing. So I'm going to actually erase the legs all together and just kind of start that over, because I am not happy with where they are. I'm going to make the eraser bigger. But yeah, sometimes you just need to recognize, okay, this isn't going the way I want it to. There's no shame in looking at a photo reference. The only shame is in cheating with it and letting that be your art substitute. You have plenty of artistic talent living within you. You just need to dig it out of there. Lieutenant Dan, they got no legs. Yeah, exactly. That's okay. The legs will be coming back. We're just going to make them better this time. Not zombie legs. Alright. Time to take a look at that photo reference, and that should help tremendously. Oh, goodness. But yeah, I saw the work you and your wife were doing on that porch. It looks great. It's the kind of work I like to do when I have a chance. But we don't have a porch. I mean, we kind of have a balcony, but not quite the same. And it's not really ours. It, of course, belongs to the apartment complex, so not a lot of reno you can do on somebody else's porch. That's better. Well, I am hoping that y'all's week is fabulous and that you get everything done that you'd like to do. Now that Grammy daycare is down to just about 2 hours a day, I'm certainly getting a lot more done than I have been, which is good because I got a little bit of new business in my inbox today. Pay's not tremendous, but right now every penny counts, so I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for a lot of things today. Actually, I was thinking about that today. There's plenty of reasons to be grateful. For one thing, I'm above 6 feet of, so I'm not 6 feet underground, and that may not be a huge accomplishment for some people, but you know what? Yeah, I'm living and breathing, and that's something. As long as you're living and breathing, you have a chance for something better to happen. I got quite a bit accomplished today, so that also made me feel good. Made some homemade bread, which, doesn't last long. Too tasty. But it is fairly easy and simple to make, and so sometimes I'll get motivated to go ahead and do it. Today was one of those days. And then I'm actually also, this is not the only piece of artwork I'm working on. We are working on some new channel merch for Ubi's stream, which I will show you guys. I'll give you a sneak peek of toward the end of this stream, just so you have an idea of what we're working on putting together for y'all. We actually are starting to prepare for all the holiday seasons. Because that's something we want to do, is make sure that we're giving people fun stuff no matter what season we happen to be in, and a reason to buy. Because otherwise, what's the point of having the merchandise store, right? And it is fun to come up with concepts and things. I don't know. I mean, I think most of y'all saw my stream on Saturday, so not stream, technically it was a premiere on Saturday where I was showing off the Fishing for Tone logo that I created. That was a hoot. Oh no, my southernisms are coming out. People are gonna recognize that I wasn't born in the north. It's true. I am a born Southern girl. Now, Ubi's pure Texas. Born Texas, stayed in Texas, up until I got a hold of him. And then we started to make our rounds throughout the United States once he got into radio school, mostly. It's hard to do radio in one place. It's your best shot when you're a newbie is getting into the small markets where you get a chance to kind of prove yourself in a low pressure environment where you're not really being rated. And then hopefully, if things work out, you make it to the big time eventually. We never did, but it was all good. We had other priorities going on in our life, so couldn't exactly go all in on the radio thing. We had a kiddo, and my time and attention certainly needed to be directed in that devoted to him. It's one of those things that, looking back, I have no regrets, but it certainly certainly has challenged us financially on certain levels. But I would choose my kid over my career every day of the week. There's no question. He's worth it. And now that I have a granddaughter, she's worth it. Sometimes you gotta pick. It ain't always easy. Why are you not? Yep, you're doing it again. I don't know what the deal is with this. Giving me a hard time on these things. Ah, there we go. Now we got you back. That's better. I'm much happier with the legs now. Go ahead and delete that layer. Much happier. Sometimes I'll flip the layers off just to check and make sure I know where I'm at, what I'm working on at the moment. So if you see our little angel here disappearing for a few minutes, it's just me checking her positioning. Keep saying her. Like I said, technically they don't have genders. They're the ultimate they thems. It's funny, I'm here. Alright. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, no, I'd love to see her stuff, Chris. And thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad that it's enjoyable for people to watch. It's one of those things where when you're a creator of certain, artistic works, you kind of sometimes wonder, is it something anybody would want to watch? And somebody had to remind me the other day, millions of people tuned in for Bob Ross, watching him painting. And I will say they did so even when they weren't planning to paint a thing. They just liked watching him work his magic. And it kind of does feel like magic. Like a lot of creative stuff, we're basically pulling together something out of nothing, which is a kind of magic. All right. I think it's time to put clothes on her. Be naked long enough. And maybe give her some hair. Hair's nice. Yep, Bob is great, man. I think of all the people, I think that was one of the nice things was you could just drop into his show, watch it, learn something from it. Whether or not you ever implemented it was another matter. But I always learned something, and one of the nice things too was he just gave you permission to be a total mess up. It's always happy little accidents. Happy little tree, happy little bush. No matter what you've done to mess up the painting, he's like, yeah, you can't mess it up. You just fix it by adding something and make it look like it belonged there. Which is a really great philosophy when it comes to life, is there are no real mistakes, just happy little accidents, things you didn't expect to do. And maybe if we had more of that attitude, life would be a little bit better for us all. If society gave more room for people to make mistakes and mess up and do the wrong thing, maybe it would be a little bit better off. I don't like that. Ugh. I don't want you that small. Yes, he was a very genuine man, a very you always got the impression he was very sincere in what he did. I mean, it's possible he wasn't the same way in real life. I don't know. But you just got the impression that he would have been the kind of guy you would have liked to have as a neighbor. Or a friend. That you could definitely trust him with your whatever it was you had. And he'd probably understand. That's a good question. Who would be the third for the Holy Trinity of chill guys? Hmm. Bob Ross, Art, Mr. Rogers, teaching kids. Puffy Lump. Yes, our own favorite Puff. She's definitely chill. Very accepting of people. You've got no agenda. She's also not in any hurry, so, she listens whenever you talk. She's ready. She will listen till you're ready to stop talking. That's a great thing about Puff. Captain Kangaroo, I don't know. I never watched Captain Kangaroo. That was probably a little before my time, I guess you would say. But Bob Ross I did watch. And Mr. Rogers I certainly watched. Very much enjoyed Mr. Rogers. I think it was helpful too. He was like a father figure, and I didn't have one at home, so that was nice. Very, very sweet guy, Not a drill sergeant. Which is funny because, Bob Ross actually was a drill sergeant in the past, before he started doing art. It's funny that you can look at somebody and in their present life, right? And you have a hard time imagining that they were maybe totally different before you met them. Like a really good example of that in our community is Ted from Ted Talks Guitars and Life. He was talking about the fact that he used to be the very militant kind of guy who wanted it just so, and has learned to chill out in his older years, but it definitely took time and being mellowed and humbled by life to get there. And I imagine Bob Ross was the same. He was a Marine drill sergeant. And that was in a time in our nation's history when we weren't exactly kind to soldiers. Imagine a lot of soldiers wound up feeling like they'd been betrayed by the very country that they set out to serve. My dad never talked about that with me. I don't know. He did serve in Vietnam. I actually lost him in Vietnam for 3 weeks. Nobody knew exactly where he was. And he did not come home the same man he went out. Imagine that was true of most of them that went over there. War may never change, but it certainly does change the men who go fight in it and whoever fights in it. Whoever's party to it. It definitely changes them. And if you're wondering, the garment itself will be white, but I'm laying down the dark layers first, and I'll work on bringing in the lights to it. One of the reasons you're watching this, one of the reasons that I do the legs in full before I do anything else, the underside of the body, even though it's not really going to be seen in the painting, is that I want to know the accurate placement for the fabric fold. That's why it's so important that you get the anatomy right, that you get the twists and the turns right, so that when you're creating that illusion of fabric folding across the body, you have a framework to work with. Of course, it also matters what kind of fabric you're envisioning as to how it will behave. Satins behave differently than cottons do. Silks are a different beast altogether. Brocades. It helps that I've actually worked with fabrics too, so I know a bit about how fabric behaves on the body. I actually can sew and do sometimes. I love to design. It's the weirdest thing. I love to design fashion. I don't care about wearing it. That's the hilarious part. I guess I'm not interested in other people's versions of what I should look like or wear. I prefer to set my own. Actually, prefer very greatly to determine my own style. I've never been one to like follow the trends. Fitness is my passion or whatever. You know. I'm working on becoming more fit. I think I mentioned that in the last stream. It is something I am working on actively, in part because, you know, I'm a vain little creature, and I hate the way I look right now. I hate that I let my looks go so long, but I'll say it taught me something. Don't punish yourself for other people's failures to love you. That was essentially what I was doing. Eating my feelings and not taking care of myself because other people didn't seem to care, so I didn't feel loved. But that makes no sense when you're sitting there doing that because somebody else doesn't love you. You're gonna abuse yourself. That makes no logical sense. When I sat down and thought about that and realized it, I was like, what are we over here doing? Hey, Malachi! Good evening. Good to see ya. How's the kitty? Yep, white t-shirt and blue jeans works fine for most occasions. Especially on a good-looking man. There are times when it's nice to be able to dress up in something else. But It works fine on most occasions. Yeah, kitties and medicine. It's a tough thing to sell them. They sure don't like that taste. I can't blame them. Like, no, that's not what I want. I know that's not what I want. And yet, you know, if they don't take the medicine, they're not going to get any better. Kind of like kids and medicine. Yeah, poor baby. I hate it when your pets get sick. There's just not much you can do for them. That is one aspect I do not miss of pet ownership. Pet ownership, are you kidding? With a cat, it's more like, pet slave indenture. Nobody owns a cat. Oh. Oh my. See, Chris, that's rough. Here you are setting up all your stands, trying to make everything work, and you got Butter over there having nibbles. 3 cats. Wow. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've had any cats, really. We lived in an apartment so much. The last time I actually had a cat, it was a cat that belonged to somebody else, and they left them with us. They told us they were going to come back and get the cat, and Mr. Kitty became our cat. So that was that story. Like, oh, okay, a cat we weren't even supposed to have. We joked that he was a figment of our imagination. There was no cat in the apartment because we weren't supposed to have one. There was no cat, just a figment. Just a figment of the imagination. Nothing to see here. But the question is your cat Athena actually wise? That is the question. You know, have I got the right outfit for this, Angel? And I'm thinking no. As much time as I spent on that, I'm thinking the answer is no. This needs to be a breastplate. This needs to be a battle armor. What am I doing? That's something else you need to consider is what is the figure supposed to be doing? Crazy me. As long as you can let them live, yes, they should be lifelong companions, not merely accoutrement. Now, animals do not ask to be in our guardianship, and yes, we should do everything we can to make sure that they are taken care of. And that they're treated with respect, hopefully, and appreciation. Well, that's awesome of him. Oh, God. When you take care of other people's animals, one of the reasons, one of the reasons that I knew that I was, that Ubi was a good guy and, safe to marry type thing was, he is the ultimate cat whisperer. Cats anywhere. It doesn't matter if he's never met them before. They just know he's the guy. They will come up to him. They will rub up against him. Even cats don't like people. Will just gravitate toward him. People be like, oh, don't mind our cat. He doesn't like people. Next thing they know, they're in Ubi's lap. Now, me, I love cats. I do. But we have a contest of wills when they get into my house, because it is my house, and the cat has to know that it is my house. And their feline furriness is as cute as it is. It's not going to take over. Well, dogs can sense, Dogs, cats, they know. They know who are their kind of people. And they know who aren't, too. They say if the dog doesn't like a person, you've got issues. That person definitely is not somebody you should be trusting. Now, if a cat doesn't like a person, it could just be a personality clash. But if a dog doesn't like a person, yeah, something ain't right with that person. Because dogs are like small children, permanent small children. It's part of what drives me crazy about them. Don't get me wrong. I like other people's dogs. It's not my preference. Dogs are cool. but not for me, mostly. I might someday get myself a little Yorkie or something, but I'm not big on dogs. There are probably people who won't like me for saying that, but it's true. I won't bother to say otherwise. Yes, I am sure your cats would love Ubi. Like I said, cats just seem to detect that he's one of their kind, and the minute that he's in the room, boom, he's furniture. Small children do that to him too. It's hilarious. Adults, they give Ubi the side eye. Like, I don't know if I want to mess with that or not. Which works to his advantage a lot, and mine. Because if I'm in, his company, I don't have to worry about being messed with. Especially by guys. Guys will not mess with me at all. Be like, oh no, I saw that trouble coming from a mile away. We ain't going there. Which is good. Means I don't have to fend off advances or anything. Not that I'm in a situation where most guys would be hitting on me right now anyway, but back in the day, I still didn't have to worry about it. Because Ubi had it handled. Anybody who knew that he and I were together, or that saw us in public, knew better than to even try it. Yeah, I think so. I think most of the people in our guitar community are pretty solid folks. Kind that would make animals feel safe. But yeah, I will say that having an animal around makes it real easy to detect people who have serious issues. As animals do not like them. Dogs especially. One of the priests that I was watching the other day was talking about the fact that dogs can tell the demonic long before people can. If the dog is getting irritated around somebody every time they come around, pay attention. There's something not right with that person. I know some people don't believe in that stuff, but I do. Yes. Well, I think one of the reasons that animals are more trustworthy judge of character when it comes to people is they can actually see, you know, and smell things that we can't. And that gives them the ability to detect things that we can't. So when something's seriously not right with a person, you can trust an animal to know it long before the people do. I think that's actually maybe one of the reasons why people tended to look at presidential candidates and see whether they had an animal. Because if an animal's not willing to be around them, it might say something about that character, that person's character. Matter of fact, when our little granddaughter, Mia Jane, gets old enough to date, hopefully we'll have a dog. And I will definitely be using the dog to suss out any person who might want to come around and consider dating that child. But if it doesn't pass the dog's trust test, it doesn't pass us. Yeah, presidents having pets, definitely. I think it's kind of a good barometer for the kind of person you might be dealing with. I mean, these days it's possible for them to fake it, of course, but I don't know. Yes, the animals can sense evils. They're very good at detecting that. Good at detecting a lot of things, honestly. So interesting that animals were the first ones to know, for instance, and I don't know, when the tsunami hit in India that Christmas Eve, animals knew before the people did. Smart people were up on that mountain, out of the way, because that's where the animals were heading. Ace Ventura Pet Detective. I haven't seen that movie, actually. I probably should sit down and watch it at some point. It's kind of one of those things should do and haven't done. The trumpets are blowing, and you hear the song. God's angels are warning, His mercy is still to be found. Now, let's find the layer where the trumpet lives, because I know I don't have it. I think I have it on some layer. Maybe not. Maybe I started to. Okay. This is where Brandy needs to remember to label the layers. It's an elementary lesson, my dear, that I keep forgetting. Keep neglecting. Yeah, when it comes to storms, there is no better barometer that you could have than your pets, man. They will tell you, is this going to be a nasty one or a relatively safe one? You will know for sure. So, angels are warning with the sun. Trumpets are blowing, whispers to the sun. Ooh, that doesn't sound fun. Yeah, the older we get, it seems like the more that our joints start telling us all about the weather. It's like we don't have to guess either. We know what's coming. Definitely starting to make some progress in this drawing. This part of it, anyway. I'm happy about that. Maybe not quite as much as I had hoped, but you know, this is something I'm not gonna rush. I want it to be good work, representative and reflective of my best. Hey, no worries, Tim. Thanks for hanging out with us for as long as you did. I appreciate it, man. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a great rest of your week. I think getting injuries is just part of getting older. I think it's almost an unavoidable part of it. Like you just hurt. It just comes with the territory, as they say. I will be wrapping up the stream here in 6 minutes so that we have a 30-minute intermission before the Ubi stream starts. I certainly do not want to interfere with my beloved's great content. I hope you will show up and join us for that too. He is taking next week off. I will probably not, unless we decide, or I may end up having to. My mother is moving, and it's possible that I may just have to go out of town to be with her, help her get her house packed up, and get herself ready to move to my sister's, which is where it looks like she's going to end up. Please say prayers that the homicide does not ensue. My mom and my sister mix about as well as oil and vinegar. Truthfully, my mom does not always make it easy to love her. We'll put it that way. Well, I think what we're going to do is take some of Ubi's older streams and clip out some of the best, and then let you guys have those to watch. We'll assemble them, put them together, and give y'all something to watch while he's taking his break and recuperating, so to speak. Because it is a lot, you know, full time. Well, not, yeah, I mean, it's not like he's on 24 hours to 7 days a week or anything, but streaming as often as he does take a lot out of him. He loves it, don't get me wrong, and he loves y'all, but everybody needs a break every now and then. And I'm, of course, new to getting regular, so it's not like I have anything to worry about as far as, you know, getting burned out or anything yet. But like I said, I do have my mom to take care of. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's crazy. The older you get, I think the more places on you start hurting. Like, yeah, that didn't used to hurt. Now it hurts. Why is it hurting? And of course, your body's like, well, why did you treat me so badly when you were younger? Well, if I'd have known. Yes, once you have kids of your own, it does change things. Your parents stop being the dumbest people in the world and you start figuring out why they were telling you some of the things they were telling you. And it's not that maybe my parents were right about everything, but there's a whole lot of things they were right about that I will admit I thought they were a bit crazy over. My grandfather especially. He's one of the ones that, you know, we thought he was just a conspiracy nut back in the day. Now, I figured out in my 30s, I guess, that he was the one who had most of the things right. He knew way more than most people did. And he was worth listening to. Of course, there was a lot I didn't know about my grandfather, so to be fair, I didn't really understand him at the time. Kind of wish I could go back, hit that rewind button, and tell my younger self, learn to listen more. Listen more, judge less, and be open to ideas that you think are crazy. Yeah, no kidding. Me too. I wish I had taken the chronic pain thing very seriously. It was not even on my radar when I was a kid. I was rarely sick. I didn't think I had anything to worry about. Still, I'm not sick as often as some people, but whew, That pain stuff, yeah. That's a real deal. No, nobody owns the time slots, but it is one of those things where we try not to step on each other's toes and try to make sure that we're there for each other and support each other, which is hard to do if you're streaming and I'm streaming at the same time. All right, speaking of which, I am going to call this one to a close for today. I appreciate you guys staying with me and watching through this. It's great fun hanging out and chat with y'all and getting the work done at the same time. And our little angel is coming along. Hopefully, well, I probably, in most likely, I will not see you next week. If so, I will still try to have something to post. Maybe I'll do either the channel merch that we did or something else. But yeah, thank you.